because if you want to have the atmosphere, you don't have any vocals, you don't have any lyrics that takes your mind off the essential of the music. So you really need to tell the story with the instrument.
Hey there, kids. We are in Halo, and you're watching LiveProg.
Yeah, I'll say good evening by the time we're recording this.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bantar, is that the correct way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bantar.
okay. Well, nice to meet you. Maybe you could introduce yourselves.
I'm Martijn. I'm the guitar player of Bantar, formerly guitar player of Semistereo. That was our former band. I wrote a lot of the stuff you hear on the album, and I mixed the stuff on the album, and that's it. That's my role. Live I play the guitar.
And my name is Marcel. I play the drums on the album and in the band. I played with Martijn and with Frank as well in Semistereo, and this is a new chapter for us. So so hi.
So to keep things easy, I am also Marcel, but I play bass.
We are Marcel.
I play the bass. I saw an ad of a band that was looking for a bass player, and they were working on an album, and I definitely like the sound of that. So here I am.
Okay, so we have 3 Marcels in the house.
Yes, easy.
Okay, I want to go back to about a year. I looked at your Facebook page and I scrolled all the way back to the very beginning. Well, that's not completely correct what I'm saying. I went to your to the Semistereo Facebook page and scrolled down there until I picked up something like, this is about Bantar, and I found that about a year ago, also at the beginning of February.
Yeah.
You introduced Bantar on that Facebook page of Semistereo. You did mention a little bit already, but is Semistereo still active, or have you completely moved to Bantar?
No, we never decided to quit officially, but our vocalist quit back then, and our bass player, but that was, I think, during Corona. And so we were left with 3 of us, and then we decided to do what we always wanted to do. At least Marcel is playing instrumental songs, and that was the right moment because we didn't have a vocalist anymore. Yeah. But we never really officially quitted Semistereo. But yeah, it's done for now.
It's the correct way to say it maybe is that it's dormant. So it's basically it's not dead yet, but it's in a very deep sleep at this moment.
Very deep sleep. Okay. Well, with those things, you never know. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the German band Everon.
I know the name, but I'm not very familiar with it now.
They kind of stopped 16 years ago, but it turns out they never actually really quit.
Okay.
After 16 years,
you never know.
An album, so.
It could be. Yeah. You never know. No. We are doing right now what we always wanted to do, is creating instrumental music, and a lot of fun. So.
I gotta say, I was not familiar with Semistereo, so I decided to have a listen, and I listened to Zabriskie.
Yeah,
with the 2 eyes,
the
latest one. I gotta say, I really enjoyed what I heard there. So
cool. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, definitely. So that's interesting. But in a way, you already kind of mentioned the story of how Bantar came to be. Maybe you can say a little bit more. How did that process go? And what I'm also very curious about is, how did you come up with the name Bantar?
You go.
Well, Martijn, do you want to say something, or shall I try to explain a little bit? Or
yeah, you can. Yeah. Sure.
Well. What was your first question was how we came to be?
Yeah. How did it start?
Well, during Corona, we just, like, the world was at a halt, and basically there was no way of playing, and I think that the holy fire was gone. So that's when Martijn, Frank, and myself started to experiment with some instrumentals. And that's the way we started Semistereo back in 2006 as an instrumental band. And that's quite a fun story, because at that time we weren't called Semistereo, but we were called the Biff Tannen concept. And as Martijn's favorite movie is Back to the Future, we decided to name our instrumental songs after specific persons, situations, and characters from that movie. So we had some songs that were called Jennifer Parker or Marty McFly or the DeLorean and something like that. So that was really fun. There was some fun conceptual stuff going on. Basically, it is in the same vein as Semistereo was, and Bantar as at this time, maybe a little bit more complex and progressive, maybe more than Bantar is right now. But then, yeah, it evolved into Semistereo, and then a vocalist came and a vocalist went, and another bass player came and he went, and another vocalist came and he went. And at end of the story is Semistereo ceased to be as Semistereo, and the three of us, except for Marcel, of course, because Marcel he joined the band less than half a year ago. But then we started to like, okay, let's do what we really want, and that's playing some instrumental stuff. And I was screaming from my lungs the last couple of years, let's do some instrumentals. And now we do.
And the thing was, at the end of Semistereo, we already went more into that post-rock vibe. We did that with Semistereo as well, but it was more a bit of a combination between prog and post-rock, I think. And we started to float more into the direction of post-rock. And that was one of the reasons why our singer decided to quit, because it wasn't his direction. And yeah, then we were left with three of us, and okay, then we go full post-rock. Now it's on.
So the move to go into the direction of post-rock is kind of a deliberate thing. You really wanted to go that way.
Yeah, it started naturally. I really like good melodies, and I like big sounds, and yeah, you can categorize that on the post-rock. So
yeah,
I love bands like Mono. Yeah. But yeah, I also love to listen to metal music or whatever. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of like the how do you say that, the virtuoso guitar thing. So I really am more into atmosphere, and then you always end up being in that post-rock vibe or post-metal or whatever.
Well, basically, when you play instrumental music, it is almost too easy, or it's almost very hard not to be really cinematic in a sense. Because if you want to have the atmosphere, you don't have any vocals, you don't have any lyrics that takes your mind off the essential of the music. So you really need to tell the story with the instrument, and that's the fun part. That's what I really like. So you make your own story. It's like you play your soundtrack for your own movie, and that's a cool thing. That's the cool thing to do that.
Yeah.
So basically that's yeah. That's how that came to be. And then of course you need a name, because you wanted to know like the story about the name.
There's the name. Yeah.
well we were thinking about, okay, how should we name this project, and without being very into stereotypes, like very long names, or like Maybe She Will, or this will, with the Trail of the Dead song, and Godspeed You Black Emperor, very long names.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking, and we came up with some names from Asian culture and whatever have not. And then Frank, who's unfortunately not here at this moment, he processed all those names and those ideas, and he was in the shower and he came up, Bantar. And then that's what Bantar. And then he paged us, he texted us like, Bantar. And then, hey, what does it mean? Yeah, I don't know. It was not on our short list. And then he looked into what Bantar means, and Bantar turned out to be a very large community in Jakarta, Indonesia. And there's a lot of people live on a large landfill, like a garbage belt. but it's maybe 50,000 people live there. So that was like a coincidence. Like, wow, Bantar Gebang. That was like it's like a place where people live on a huge pile of garbage, and they recycle the stuff over there. And then it's like, okay, Bantar, yeah, it's a powerful name, but it has a certain nice ring to it, and it has a different meaning as well. So that was, but it's not the most important meaning. So it has nothing to do with that landfill in Jakarta, but it's really a coincidence.
Okay. It's interesting that you come up with something and it turns out it actually means something.
Yeah, it
So-
actually means something. Yeah, because we were
Yeah.
looking like, is there a band existing that's called band? Of course, you can say banter, like being loudmouth and have some
Yeah,
banter,
yeah.
and you talk shit to each other in a bar or something like that. That's what we like to do as well. So we have three nice meanings for that name, you know. But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best
yeah.
meaning is that we are a band called Bantar.
Okay, nice. Well, your debut album, This Heat is Exhausting, was released last November. How did the album come together? What was the point when you started and you think, we're gonna do an album?
We decided to, I decided to just create some parts of music that I liked. Like I had a couple of chords, made a melody on it, and I recorded stuff for like 10, 20 seconds and then gave it to Marcel. And yeah, just try a couple of drum parts, whatever comes up in your head. And with all those parts, I tried to create songs, things that we could combine together that sounded well. And then I tried to, even with those rhythms Marcel played, I could get rid of the guitars, try something new, and that was the whole process. So piece by piece, we started to create songs. And at first, we had the plan, I think, to release each month a new song or something. I think that's true, right, Marcel?
Yeah. We did that in February, March, and April of last year. So we had three singles. Yeah, were released exactly.
But mainly the process went faster and faster, and then we were like, oh, we already have like 10 songs, and that's like 80 minutes of music. So then it would be nice to create an album. I think the advantage of having an album is that you get more reviews because people are more willing to review an album than if you have just a couple of songs. So it's I think that's the main reason, and that's it. So
we can work pretty fast because we work. We have our own studio, so we do our own recordings. Martijn does the mix down. Frank does the mastering. So basically, guitars are recorded at home in the bedroom, basically, and the drums are recorded in our own rehearsal room. So that's a very unique position that we don't have any costs and all that stuff that we have to be creative right now. We can be creative every night or every day of the week or whatever.
It started out as being an experiment, I think. Let's try how far we can go.
Exactly.
And if it sounds nice, we can release it. And it turned out that it was actually sounding pretty good for our ears. So
we are happy with the results. So that's a cool
stuff. That's very important, of course, that you're happy with the result. I found the title very interesting. This Heat is Exhausting, and it was released, coming up on the winter, so nice one. But Marcel, you mentioned the being the soundtrack, your own soundtrack to your own story, and that made me think a little bit. Like the songs, are they just individual songs, or is there a kind of a story going on the album?
Well, Martijn, do you want to say anything about that? Because
musical wise, there is no story behind it. Just creating nice music. But I think Marcel has got a better story than me.
Yeah, we started. Of course, when you play a song and there are no lyrics and there's no singer. So basically, you give a song a working title. And I can tell you a little bit about one song, for instance. That song was called Mud. And I don't know, that's mud, like the wrestling through mud or something like that, or working through mud. And that was a title, a working title that Martijn came up with. And then we decided, okay, this is a nice song. And then you try to get, what kind of a feeling does this song give me? And I was thinking about both with the idea of the original working title being Mud. And I was like, okay, this is a very triumphant thing. Has a certain very powerful, victorious sound to it. And then I was like, okay, this is like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler, and it's like, or a mud wrestler, and it's like, oh yeah, this is really cinematic. And then like the victory of a wrestler winning a match. I don't know, that came up in my head. So I proposed it to the guys, like, let's call this The Wrestler. And they said, oh yeah, that's a cool title. So you naming it when you name it on a certain feeling a song gives you, but then that's me, because I came up with a suggestion for that title. But yeah,
Okay.
so it's but it's the titles are not linked. It's not like a story text wise or title wise.
Okay. Yeah, I was a bit curious because when I look at the inside, I also noticed that there is, you know, a color difference between two of the
Oh, yeah,
titles.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why I
okay.
started to think, are
Okay.
they doing
Yeah.
something here?
There's a
well,
meaning.
I mean, you have no booklet otherwise, so
Just leave it like that. That's a nice
But
idea.
it's all for the listener to interpret.
okay.
So it's yeah, you have to. The only thing I can say about the title, because yeah, well, I'm talking again for Frank here, because Frank came up with the title of the album. It was during the last summer. There was a lot of heat with the war being going on everywhere in Israel and in Ukraine and everywhere, and there was an exhausting heat. There was a heat for everybody in the world is really tired. Like, what is going to happen? I can stand this heat, and that's when Frank said, well, we should call this heat is exhausting, because it is exhausting for people when you're living right now. And then the only thing that we can do is to play some music that gives us a good feeling, and maybe other people as well. So without being pretentious, because you cannot change anything, but it's for your own mental health.
Did he also get the inspiration of the art, the album cover? Because if you look at the picture on the album, it's one of my holiday pictures. I went to Yellowstone in the USA.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, and I made a picture of a landscape that is like that. That's like some salty, like white rocks, and it's all volcanic over there. So you have those burning trees, or the black trees, and we completely destroyed the picture with a lot of effects and stuff in Photoshop. But maybe that was also an inspiration for this heat is exhausting, because it's pretty hot over there. The ground is hot. Everything is like it's volcanic. So yeah.
Okay.
It's a matching picture.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely love the artwork.
Thanks.
Then again, you know, I've been listening to the album many times, and I'm really, enjoying it very much. It's an amazing music. There were a couple of songs that kind of stood out for me, and especially the third and fourth song, White Drone and A Sense of Purpose. White Drone, especially for the kind of synth parts in it. And I'm curious, A Sense of Purpose. Did you use like a vocoder or something?
Yeah, I was just a couple of years ago, I think already 2 years ago. So I was interested by using a vocoder. How does it work? What does it do? And I noticed that my own my MacBook with my Logic software had those things. So I was like, I'm gonna try. What does it do? So I plugged in my microphone, and turns out to be more funny than I thought it would be.
Okay.
So I was working with that, created some chords on my guitar, and then I created the song on that. And,
The thing is, now I'm looking at the backside, and now I actually see here vocoder. So
yeah.
I could have known it, but I kind of guessed it. So
So it's my voice you hear there, and I just repeat a couple of sentences, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
One last thing about the songs, and another title that really stood out for me, the last track,
Yeah.
Love, Drugs, Not War.
Yeah, that's a nice
The
title.
not war part I can get, but the love drugs part, I mean, what are you guys trying to do with that song?
I don't know.
Basically, it's better to love your drugs than your war, because if you do it correctly, then it won't kill you. But this is it's the heaviest song that we
Yeah.
have, and it's maybe like a scream without a voice, that thing. And when we play it live, we kind of extend the last part of it, and it's that it becomes kind of hypnotic, because you have to if you have a story to tell, then just make it even bigger and more impressive. And
Yeah.
the love, drugs, not war part, it maybe also maybe it's that it triggers you, maybe, like. And but again, like I said, make your own story to the title, and it's all good.
Now, you two gentlemen have been talking a lot, but the
Yes.
other Marcel has been very quiet.
There you go.
And I'll give you something to talk about. I mean, you mentioned that you recently joined the band as the bass player. I know that the three of you started out this band. Then you now are with four of you. But Marcel, how did you become a part of Bantar?
I came by advert of the band looking for a bass player. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
So I sent an email, and I must say a little hesitant at first, because in the ad it said it was a band out of Amsterdam. I thought, oh no, I live in The Hague, near The Hague. So I thought, oh, that's a tough drive, and all the way into Amsterdam. But I mailed anyway because I like the music. And then I got an email back, oh, but we rehearse in front of Amsterdam. And I was like, hey, that's half of the time. And then we emailed along another, and I have two little kids, and that was a point. I thought, these guys are really serious into doing things, and I have little kids. How is that gonna stand up? And our first two meetings we had got cancelled because of the other band members with their kids. So I thought, this is great. This is going to work out, and it did. I went there, we rehearsed, and it was a straight hit, both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, just after 10 minutes, it was please join our band.
Okay.
And I was happy to.
But before you sent the email, you first listened to the music, I take it?
Yeah, there were two songs released at that time.
Okay. So there was not a lot to go on then.
That's like
Yep, we sent him
60 minutes or so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it seemed to work out, and what I noticed, a few postings on Facebook, especially I believe last weekend, you guys performed.
Yeah, we did.
So
Yeah.
how important is performing live for the band?
I think it's pretty important because you can show more of yourself. The thing is that it will sound even more big live. That's what I heard from people who were listening to it. And you can give it more energy. It's just fun to do. So, and this gig we had last weekend was with friends of ours. That was Hologram Earth. It's a progressive metal band, and the bass player of that band, he filled in a couple of times for Semistereo as a bass player, and he also did the trumpet and trombone playing on one of our songs.
Okay.
And a couple of years ago, we played on the Prog Power Festival in Limburg. Yep, Prog Power. And he also played with us, so we know the guy for years. And they had their CD presentation last weekend. So he asked us if we wanted to join to play there, and yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's nice. So Bantar is not a studio project. It's a
Yeah,
real
Oh
band.
yeah,
it started
definitely.
out to become that, but like, well, we'll see where it ends. We
Yeah,
just go, we create music, and then we put it on the internet, and we'll see. But I think it's also mainly Frank's drive that he really wants to play live. Yeah, fortunately he's not here yet, but and I like to play live as well. So yeah, then you start talking about it, and yeah, let's
yeah.
do it. And then we need a bass player.
Okay. Well, you've got one now, fortunately.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you look back at, well, the past year, everything that happened, how do you look back?
Wow. Well, yeah, we had a couple of great reviews. So it definitely shows that uh, that people are appreciating our music. So that's the first thing that's really important for us, because we can play music that we like, but if nobody's interested in listening to it, it's like, yeah, okay, of course you will not stop doing that, but it's an extra cherry on the pie that people really dig it, and that's really nice. And the fact that we want to play live, because then you have the interaction with the people, with the audience who really dig your stuff. So that's really it is. Um, in the maybe in the 30 years that I play in bands, or in the 35 years that I play in bands, I never realized how important it is, uh, up until now, because then you play something that you really like for 100% as a drummer or as a composer or just like a contributor to a band, and then it's like that people really dig it. And it's like, okay, this is really my baby. This is really, like I am one of the three daddies and four daddies of this band. So
Yeah.
that this, and then it's really important to do. So that's one of the main uh, um, uh, pinnacles, the most important things that last year, is that people and the press appreciate it, and now it's time for the audience to hopefully appreciate it as well.
Yeah,
So
the thing
yeah,
is, it starts to get more alive at this
yeah,
moment, I
exactly.
think.
Yeah,
We started out like, oh, we don't have a band anymore. We lost our vocalist, we lost our bass player. And yeah, what should we do? We're gonna play a couple of songs, gonna write some stuff, but we had no idea like where it was going or whatever. And now it starts to getting, yeah, it gets more alive. It starts with the reviews, and then the bass
yeah,
player, and then the
Yeah.
live gigs, and
really awesome. Yeah,
now we are talking again about
talking to
maybe
you. Yeah,
also and creating new songs. Like so, yeah. Now it's going somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great to hear. I'm really
hmm
happy that how things were going, and that you guys released this beautiful
This
album.
one,
Got to show it. I hope a lot of people will enjoy it, and
yeah, I hope
have
so
an
too.
open mind to it. You know, not think, okay, post rock is not my thing, I'll skip it. Don't skip it. Listen to it, because
I
yeah,
think it's more what we read in a couple of reviews is more direct than yeah. How do you say it? More to the point than the average post rock band.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I read a
Yeah.
couple of times.
yeah,
So yeah,
Yeah.
even if you don't like post rock because it's too long or
slow or too
too slow
long
or
and
whatever, just
tedious.
try it maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's well, I think
We don't we are not your average, not your stereotype post rock band that being like kind of shoegazy. We do like it, but we have a like a myself, my background is in funk metal, funk rock, so really funky. And Martijn's listen to a lot of heavy stuff, and Marcel as well, and Marcel likes some progressive stuff. So it's not purely post rock per se. If there's people still doubting and maybe like, oh, I'm not quite sure, just they should give it a listen and give it a try.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time on
Yeah,
this
thank you
evening
as
to have a
well. Yeah,
chat. It
cool.
was great to meet you guys, and interesting to hear all the stories. So, yeah, good luck with everything.